Hello everybody! Welcome back to Nukeshot Media and the Capital X NES IndyCar series. We're here at Road Atlanta for round 2 of the season. I'm of course your commentator Zokio as always. We're here for the quick trip 150 miles. That equates to 59 laps around this place. My personal favourite circuit in the world, and we're hoping to see some fantastic action here today. We're about 10 minutes or so away from the start of qualifying, and we've got a decent turnout here today. We're going to go over who's here. Octavian, car number 10 for Team Impact Racing, making their way out the pits. Nice to see them back. Matthew, with a different livery for MEM Skoda Racing, that's the number 71. Mateus for North Star Racing, still in the KFC colours, that's number 25. We've got Batman making, I believe, their debut in this series. I think they're one of the understeer engineering cars. I'm going to have a quick check on my notes for that. Yep. That does seem to be the case. Number 11. I'm going to pronounce this as Zweet. I've no chance of pronouncing that in actuality. That's another Skoda car in 7-Up livery. Number 15 there. Zephonius back once again. Making their way down the start finish straight. That's a North Star Racing car, the Radeon Chevrolet, number 58. Taters, series organizer, in the Menards livery this time around for Motorsport Republic X Capital. That's a Honda powered car, number 98. Volked is back in the 711 car for Nukeshot Motorsport. And also making their debut is another one that I'm probably going to mispronounce. Maciek, I'm going to say, approximately. Probably butchered that. They're in the Indeck Chevrolet, another Nukeshot car. And Joe of the Fire is currently sitting in the pits doing nothing. Perhaps saving the tyres. And I think that's everyone that's here at the moment. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Not that the stream's ending yet, as there's a little bit of chaos going off on circuit. Octavian passing 2 cars as they go onto the back straight. Hello to both Fritz and all the odd stuff in the live chat. I'm going to do a quick audio check. Yep, that seems to be going A-OK. There's a little bit more chaos going off. It's going to be an interesting one. It's a very high speed circuit. We saw a lot of cars at Daytona running minimum aero, and it might be the same case here. Because you want to maximise your speed on the straights while able to stay flat out for a lot of the sections despite how twisty they are. As Octavian with a heavy impact into the wall. That could be a new chassis for the number 10 team. He's driving away from it because that's how video games work. Good stuff. We're about 7 minutes or so away from the start of this. Just going to check in on everyone else. There you see the grid of cars here at the moment. Octavian back into the gravel trap. Don't think he meant to do that. He's currently top of the timing sheets though, 102.362. Be interesting to see whether that translates to qualifying as well. It's a 10-minute session, of course, followed by 5 minutes for the Yokohama Fast 6, I believe it is. Yep, that's a 5-minute session for positions 1 through 6, so they get a bit of extra clear track. It's not too short of a circuit, but it is a very short lap time due to the high speed. As you can see, just over a minute. IndyCar doesn't actually race here in real life. I don't know if they ever have, even if they're a Champ Car or Indy Racing League days, like one of the older pre-merger things. It'd be interesting to look that up. But I think it's a fantastic circuit for this sort of racing. Of course, it's mainly known for the Petit Le Mans, 10-hour endurance race, ran by IMSA in that sports car championship. All the odd stuff saying that a sub 1 minute lap is possible. I have my doubts about that. Maybe by GT Sophie, but I'd be very surprised if we see that today. Unless, I guess, if someone hits with new softs on a very low fuel load. That's the only situation I think I could see that happening. Cars making their way through the S's. That's a fantastic section of circuit. Absolutely love it. I personally first drove this track on Forza Motorsport 4 on the Xbox 360, and it's been fantastic ever since. Sweet makes their way across the line. That's an improvement by them. They're currently third in that 7-Up car, and in fact both of the MEM Skoda cars seemingly doing quite well here, although that's cutting straight across the grass. That's not going to be legal. I'm going to assume that's accidental. Track limits, of course, are manually enforced, so it's 2 wheels within the white lines. There's a few places that drivers are taking some liberties at the moment, but race control will be all over them post-race. There's a lot of cones as well littered across the track from this practice session. Not seeing any yellow flags being waved. I'm guessing the marshals have gone on strike. There seems to have been a bit of an incident there as Batman exits the pits, and they're currently in 4th in this practice session. Gonna check in on overtake mode, of course. Yes, that will also possibly allow for getting closer to that sub 1 minute time. Thanks for pointing that out there. Checking Discord just to make sure that no one is atting me 50,000 times saying that they need a friend request. It seems not. Stuff. Of course, the 24 Hours of Le Mans is currently on at the moment in real life, so exciting times. However, you can watch this race for free, and without having to go to a shady website. Isn't that fantastic? Well, unless you count YouTube as a shady website. Been a good day for rambling so far. I think starting the live stream a little bit later than previously helped a bit. Arroyo is here. So another driver joins the fray. Makes 11 cars. That might be the biggest... Is it the biggest grid we had so far? Maybe. Mind you, it is round 2. We did have a decent turnout for Daytona, to be fair. A lot of decent turnouts so far, even in the practice races. It's been a well-supported series, and I'm very glad that people are enjoying their time here, or at least seemingly are choosing to stick around. I don't know whether the admins are holding any hostages, but I assume not. Arroyo is also in the understeer engineering team, so they're teammates with Batman here, who we're watching. Are they on circuit yet? No, it seems not. First qualifying starting soon. Don't know what's going on there. Just sort of waiting. Ah, there we go. On circuit. I think that's a new livery as well. By Arroyo. Let's see if we can have a look at this. Yeah, look at that, Caesar's Palace sponsorship. Thanks to everyone that's showed up for the live stream so far. Currently 6 viewers. I think we've already peaked at 7 this time around. As Arroyo figuring out the medium tyres. The wind direction is also going to be playing a bit of havoc. It significantly affects lap time around here. And qualifying is about to start. As mentioned, 10-minute session, and the fastest 6 go through to the Yokohama Fast 6, where there's a bit less traffic. Hello to Lugi in the chat. Nice having you watching along. 10 minutes. Hopefully they're not all stuck in the pits and so on. Getting onto the soft compound tyres. They're now trying to find a bit of space around this 2.45 mile circuit. Pretty sure that's the length. I've got some of these circuits memorised. It's proper nerdy stuff. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Zephanius who's leading us out. Makes a change. Normally it's one of the TSR cars. So we're going to go on board with Zephanius, take you through a lap here at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. And it's 2.54. Turn 1, flat out in these cars, it is absolutely awesome. Slowing down for the S's, this first section drives a little bit like a roundabout. You want to stay to the left and take this section as much of a straight line as you can. Straighten up for the brakes. Oh, he runs wide. Zephanius, bit of a mistake. Recovering it though. Now towards the south end of the circuit and the slowest corner on the track here. Second gear, back on the power with the overtake as well. And we're coming up to what will be a very good overtaking spot, this chicane. Braking, oh that's quite late. Well done though. Up under the Fox Factory Bridge and plunging back down through the final corner, flat out once again. And that's a 103.659. It is bettered by Poctavian as we have a whole load of times coming through. Poctavian seems to be the fastest of the ones so far. That is a 101.843. We'll go over some of the lap times once everyone has completed their first run. Okay, so it is Poctavian that leads by 0.5 of a second at this stage from Mateus, which showing by Mateus so far. Joe the third at this stage. Taylor's in 4th. Sweet in 5th. Zephanius 6th. Batman 7th. They're the first to be out of the Yokohama Fast 6 if things finish as they are. As they loop it round into the wall. Oh dear. got to be careful. They reset to the pits. So it's Matthew in 8th as it stands, Maciek in 9th, Volked in 10th, and Arroyo, who didn't get much practice after joining the lobby a little bit later than the others, in 11th as it stands. We have an improvement from Matthew. Matthew 6th at this stage. Volked, an improvement, 104.5. Zwi goes 3rd with a 102.314. They run wide as there's a cut off. There was some purple there. I fear that could be Zephanius, yep, in the Radeon North Star racing machine. They're perhaps just backing off to get a little bit of room. Not too sure if getting much in the way of slipstream is going to be beneficial here, because you want to have clear air for the S's. Octavian improves. That is a 101.315. Joe improves but stays 4th. So not quite the ultimate pace from Joe as of yet that we're used to. Mateus sweeping through the S's, not too far behind a car ahead. Wondering who that is. That is Joe of the Fire. So Mateus currently 2nd. Sweet on their debut, currently in 3rd place. That's quite impressive. Joe currently 4th, Tater's 5th, Matthew 6th, Sophonius 7th, Batman 8th, Volked 9th, displaced to 10th as Arroyo goes up the order. So Volked 10th, Maciek in 11th, as Arroyo actually got to 3rd with that time. Impressive stuff, and Joe takes it back, a 102.050. We're just past halfway through this session, as Batman improved their time. Someone else did as well, I may have missed that. I think that's Tater's, and Matthew as well. So Matthew is 7th, Tater's is 6th. Tater's just holding on to the last spot in the Yokohama Fast 6 as it stands. 1.2 seconds off the ultimate pace, as that was someone going off. I think that was Arroyo in the Caesars Palace car. As Zephanius improves to 7. Improves their time at the very least. Oh, but they clip the grass and they spin out. I think they may have got unsettled on one of the curbs. When you're pushing the limits in these cars, and when you're running quite low downforce as well, these things can become twitchy. Through all of this chaos, Octavian still holds the fastest time. They've encountered a bit of traffic at this stage. That's the North Star Racing car of Mateus. Zephanius pulls off to the side. There's smoke coming from that car. Might need a new Chevrolet power plant. Don't think either of these two are on push laps yet. In fact, Mateus has actually pitted for new tyres at the end of this session. So they're hoping for the fresher rubber to be of benefit. They've also got, besides Octavian, who I think they're getting a bit of a slipstream from, Mateus has relatively clear air. Besides that, they've got a nice pocket, and I think Mateus may have dropped back a little bit, just to give himself a little bit more room. And they've topped up on overtake as well, so... Oh, so they didn't pit, they just reset to the pits. So they don't even have the benefit of the extra fuel taken out of the car from running. I'm not too sure about that call. But plenty of laps being set, the benefit of it being such a short lap time. Not quite into the sub 1 minute range, but 101.3, that is significantly faster than what we were seeing in practice. Drove the Fire, currently 3rd, and resets to the pits. So this seems to be the strategy for a lot of these guys, is choosing to reset to the pits and finding a bit more of space on track, as opposed to taking the lighter fuel. There's more of an immediacy with this session. Arroyo has managed to find the speed then. They're currently sitting in 4th. And I think they might just about be safe for the Yokohama Fast 6. Sweet, making their way out. Anyone that resets to the pits now is going to be cutting it very close with getting another lap in for the checkered flag. Under a minute to go in qualifying. Octavian still has the top time. We've not seen that many improvements as of late. Just a lot of people resetting to the pits. Someone's facing backwards at the S's. I'm not sure what's going on there. Who is that? It's Zephanius. So choosing to stay out of the way. Hopefully not too much of a distraction there. There is an improvement. It is Mateus. They were one that went to the fresher tyres. They've improved, but not their position. They stay second. But a little bit of a disruption there. They're the meat in the sandwich, with the 2 TSR cars as the bread. And Mateus is 2 tenths up in that first sector. As the checkered flag is out, first lot of cars will be coming across the line shortly. I think that's Tater's. Tater's 6th place. They're going to be on the cusp here. There's not too much of a gap behind them. As Joe improves to 2nd place. 101.413. Joe's surely safely through in this session. So Mateus, unless they manage to improve this time around, will no longer be the meat in the sandwich. They do improve, but it's not quite enough. But they stay 3rd. They're still in the session. Arroyo plunging down the hill. That lap wasn't representative. Sweet has already crossed the line. Only a handful of cars still out there. I think Zephanius is the last one, but they're not on a push lap. Who else is left? Maciek crosses the line, no improvement there. I think that is pretty much session over here. As Zephanius crosses the line, your top 6 through to the Yokohama Fest 6 session is Octavian, Joe of the Fire, Mateus, Arroyo, Sweet, and Taters. Those starting in the following positions. Not in the session. Batman in 7th, Zephanius 8th, Matthew in 9th, Volked 10th, and Maciek in 11th. And all cars within 4.5 seconds of each other around here by the end of this. Someone's just left the pits. I wonder who that was. Was it Taters? No? There's someone around this point on this. Ah, it was Batman. How has the chat started talking about the wind speed and direction more than, like, before I have? That never happens. Pardon me. Oh, well done everyone. That concludes initial qualifying. Next up will be the Yokohama Fast 6. If you enjoyed that qualifying session, be sure to leave a like. Consider subscribing for the rest of the Capital X NES IndyCar Series season. All broadcasted live here on Nukeshot Media. Okay. So it's going to be Octavian, Joe, Mateus, Arroyo, Sweet, and Taters in the Yokohama Fast 6. And that's going to be a 5-minute session. I changed it before the bother. Apologies for that. I keep forgetting that you can save replays of qualifying. Oh, sneeze alert. There's some cars that are on circuit that aren't meant to be. We'll be getting this underway shortly. It's just Volked yet to leave the track. This is going to be a long day. I'm hoping they didn't go AFK. Oh great, Discord's going off. Oh, I think they're back now. They're still on track. Ah, there we go. Okay, so it's going to be Sweet that leads them out. As mentioned, 5 minutes this particular time. It seems the weather conditions have changed a bit. It's a bit of fog, almost, looking down through the S's, or haze. And the wind direction's changed a little bit. Yeah, There seems to be a lingering haze going around. Hopefully no forest fires. Shouldn't lap count be 60 because of the formation lap? No, that's something that I got clarified on in one of the pre-season races, I think. Lap counts. Apparently it is 59 including the formation lap. Okay, so Octavian has assumed the lead in this session. Plenty more space, so we shouldn't be seeing anyone reset to the pits. Over the crest of the hill. And the first laps are coming in. Octavian with a 101.420. And Mateus goes second, 101.707. Joe third, 101.712. Sweet in fourth as it stands, 102.277. As Arroyo actually goes to fourth, so that's a 101.851. And Taylor's with a 103.410 as it stands. A little bit of sliding going off there. Down the hill once again. Is it going to be an improvement for Octavian? I don't think so. Just set himself up for another lap here. Joe does improve. Goes to second, 101.698. No improvement for Mateus that time around, just trying to find space. Arroyo does improve, but not their position. But they do get closer to Mateus. There isn't a 105. What's the game on about there? 101.790. And they've caught up to Mateus. Bit of traffic as Mateus bails out of it and goes into the gravel. I think that may have been a push lap there by Mateus. We've got enough time for one more. They can get around. And Sweet in the background might benefit a little bit from a slipstream. I think they're a bit far back. Looking again. No improvements that time around for the front runners. This will be the last lot of laps that they're going on to. Taylor's improves the time. That's a 102.968. Arroyo improves to second. 101.476 as they go off onto the grass. I think that's this lap done. It's looking good for Octavian at the moment. Joe on the overtake as the time has elapsed. Joe is up by 0.2 of a second. So it's all going to come down to the chicane. Oh, he oversteers! Oh, is that 0.2 lost? Octavian improves anyway. Joe improves, but only third. 101.305 for Octavian. An improvement for Arroyo as well on that last lap. They're not on a push lap this time around, it seems. Mateus takes pole! Out of nowhere! A 101.244 for Mateus. Car number 25. And I think that's everyone across the line now. Well then, Mateus, a surprise pole position. A 101.244. That was a very impressive final stint there. Okay, Mateus has decided to start on the right hand side of the grid. And now that's out of the way, we can go back to practice and race. And what were the other settings? Oh yes, this. That was the one set by host. Oh, what a session that was. Hope you all enjoyed that. And the race is coming up. Ooh, hold up. There's a bit of cloud cover here. That's different. We'll see how that plays out. Ah, Taylor's already handling that part. I'll go over who's actually on circuit at the moment. So it was Mateus, Octavian, Arroyo, Joe, Sweet wasn't on circuit yet. Okay, everyone's on circuit now. Sweet and Taters. Trevino, yep, that's right there. There's the funniest, that's also right. Matthew, Volker, I checked. Oh, fantastic. Well, we're getting a little bit more efficient here at the Nukeshot Media Broadcast Centre. Once again, shameless promotion. If you enjoyed this, be sure to leave a like. Consider subscribing for the rest of the season. Cars making their way out on circuit for the final bit of practice. And the fun part, the formation lap. Got to get all this stuff sorted once again. The joys of being race director and commentator. I double check to see what side. Test that right. Okay. Oh, okay. There's a quick break. There's always someone. Yeah, Mateus got pole. Impressive stuff. We'll see if he's able to keep it. Interestingly, 4 Chevrolets in the top 4, followed by 2 Hondas, 2 more Chevrolets, another Honda, and 2 more Chevrolets. We're on schedule! Isn't this amazing? Actually, no, we're off schedule by a minute. Oh well. Yeah, the cloud cover's decided to stay. To get all the start zone stuff up. Race description. Okay, I've got that under control. Let's take you through the order then, while we've got the time to do so. We've got Mateus on pole position in the number 25 KFC Chevrolet, followed by Octavian in the Need for Speed Chevrolet, number 10. Arroyo in the number... which one was that again? It's weaving, it's difficult to read when it's weaving. Oh, the number 1 car. Oh, okay. So the number 1, Caesar's Palace Chevrolet. And Joe rounds out the Chevrolet quartet at the front of the field in the Noises car. Sweet in 5th place, best of the Hondas, followed by Taters in 6th, Batman in 7th, Zephanius in 8th. 9th place is Matthew, Volked in 10th, and Maciek in 11th. We're about to come up to the double file zone. And we're about to get racing underway here for round 2 of the Capital X NES IndyCar Series season, and it is green, 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 and the cars are off. Great jump there by Mateus, as it looks like Octavian's going to come under pressure from Arroyo around the outside, going into turn 1, not quite. Arroyo manages to hold on to 3rd as Joe was looking to do a bit of a sneaky. Never mind, Arroyo goes off and Joe does go up to 3rd. And it looks like they could possibly drop back behind Taters as well. Taters is up to 5th, so Zweet lost a position out on the start. Someone has gone off, meanwhile, towards the back end of the field. I'm not sure who that is at this stage. Mateus leads, but Octavian will have the slipstream. It's going to be difficult to defend this one. Going to go rear wing cam on Mateus' car. There you see the charging number 10. Mateus goes defensive, but that is an easy overtake for Octavian well before the corner and even the braking zone. But Octavian does go a bit deep. into the chicane. Going to be difficult to follow through the S's though, going at full speed this time around. And that is a change of lead on the first lap then. Octavian takes the lead. Followed by Mateus, then Joe. Then Tatus, who's up to 4th. Sweet is 5th, Matthew 6th. So someone's gone down the order. Batman has gone off. Batman has gone off the circuit horrifically. Whoa, that's a scary part of the circuit. As one of the Nukeshot cars was going through. Pretty sure that was Maciek. As the Phonius also as well goes through there. I think it was it Arroyo that also dropped down the order? Yeah, Arroyo's in 7th. So from qualifying well in the Yokohama Fest 6, Arroyo losing positions of the start. They are on the mediums. And they're weaving, trying to get a bit of temperature into the tyres. That's going to be cutting their speed though, and they're bouncing off the rev limiter as well. Joe, meanwhile, has got up into 2nd place. It is a TSR 1-2. Seems to have happened a while ago. Apologies for missing that one. But Mateus is down to 3rd. Perhaps it was a mistake. Tatus holds on to 4th. Benefiting from some of the carnage. Zui maintaining 5th after dropping a position and then gaining one. Matthew 6th, so the Skoda cars are 5th and 6th at this stage, as someone has gone off again towards the back of the field. I think that might be Maciek. They're in close proximity with Batman. It was the Dirty Air. The Dirty Air caught them out severely, following really close, trying to go flat out again through there. Not possible. Gotta learn where to lift off in those scenarios. New fastest lap of the race goes to Octavian and is instantly eclipsed by Mateus. These top 3 in particular driving absolute rockets at this stage. Taters on the mediums in this early stage, and in fact both of the TSR cars at the front are also mediums, so Mateus on the softs, going early on the softs. There's a little bit of overtaking going off here, was there? Oh, someone went off again. Who was that? There's a random that's just joined the room. I don't know what's gone off there. Who was it that went off at There's a yellow flag. Oh, it was Zwiet. Zwiet went off in the S's. Must have caught a curb badly. So Zwiet drops down the order there in 7th, and behind Arroyo, who made the mistake earlier, who finds their way back into 6th place. This is the kind of thing I would have expected more at Laguna Seca. People being caught out by the curbs. Evidently, this is another tricky circuit for that. But look at the gap that Octavian has managed to get here. 4 seconds. They might not have got the pole position, but it looked to me like they may have had the fastest car. Joe being closed in a bit by Mateus. Doesn't look like Mateus is going to be close enough to challenge going into the chicane. Maybe on the run towards turn 1 if they get close enough. Doesn't look like it. Joe gets a solid exit as they go under the Fox Factory Bridge. Oh, I have accidentally pressed the replay button. That's always fun. Joe closes down the gap a little bit. Skipping around to check in on some of the other battles throughout the order. Matthew currently in 7th place. Zephonius trying to close in. Zephonius just set their personal best lap of the race so far at 103.579. Volkhead trying to close in through the S's section. Batman also not too far behind. And Sophonius on the overtake, using it a bit defensively here. Batman seems to have a decent bit of pace, I say, as they run a little bit wide, but they gather it up. Again, difficult to follow. They're back in the slipstream here. Although it seems that Sophonius' car is a lot better on the straights, gapping significantly over Batman. 3.6 is the gap between first and second at this stage. That seems to be roughly stabilised. Some of these going into the 102s. Interesting to see the tactical use of overtake at this stage. Octavian's actually not used much of it at all. I suppose he hasn't really had to. He's saving it for the end of this. And neither's Mateus. So the top three, Joe's actually the one that's been burning some of the overtake. Perhaps just trying to keep Mateus just out of slipstream reach. Taters in pretty much a no man's land at this stage, but they are on the mediums. Should be faster in the second stint, although they're oversteering, going out of the chicane. Down the hill, the car sparks. Oh, that's Sophonius gone off. I thought I saw a bit of a close battle going off. Here we see what happened, closing up on Matthew. There may have been a little bit of contact, but just a bit over eager on the accelerator there. Kept it out the wall. Let's drop them down to 10th at this stage. So Volkhead up to 9th. 8th place for Batman at this stage, closing in on Matthew. We're going to go on board here. If we can, there we go, nose cam. Or, I suppose that's halo cam actually. Closing in, using the overtake. Going to get this done easy. Oh, accidental bump there. Mistiming the overtake. Round the outside. Oh, it looks like Matthew's going to wheel bang with them a little bit. Bit of onion bargee shed between the two of them, and down the hill. Still wheel banging, making the way towards turn 1, and it looks like Batman has managed to get the pass to stick. Does Matthew hold on to it through turn 1? Yes, they do. They lose a significant amount of time, and they've gone off into the S's. Just trying to keep pace. Proving to be very difficult. Batman is on the softs, so they have the mechanical grip advantage as well. There's more battling going off here. Actually, that's a Machek being lapped by the looks of it, so Machek's been off. Someone has span off at the S's. Who on earth was that? It was Volkhead, I think. Making the way up through. Do they just clip the grass? Oh yeah. Bring a bit of grass onto the circuit as well. As the leader goes through, that's Octavian. Volkhead going onto the grass again. Caught out by dirty air. Getting out of the way of Joe. That gap has gone up a bit between the two leaders. 4.3 as it stands, 4.4, 4.5 even. Checking in. Looks like Arroyo's on a personal best lap at this stage. They've got 3.8 seconds to catch Taters. We're in a nice bubble of clear air at the moment. They can settle into their own pace, but they can still see that Menard's Honda up ahead of them. So they've got a target to aim for. Sweet in 6th place at this stage in the 7-Up Honda. Ran of course by MEM Skoda Racing. Bam has been able to use those soft tyres to get a bit of a gap over Matthew. Who's in 8th place. Field's starting to spread out a little bit. But as we get towards the pit cycle and the medium runners become soft runners and vice versa, we should be able to see that mix up a little bit again. The gap's come down by about 4/10 or so between the leaders. So Joe closing in a little bit. He's stopped using overtake. Used a bit towards the start of this, but then stopped. The sun seems to have come out a little bit again as well. Starting to see some shadows around the circuit, as opposed to just the cloud cover. Down under the Fox Factory Bridge. And starting another lap. And Mateus, not too far behind. And closes up through turn 1 a bit. And actually, Mateus set the overall fastest lap of the race that time around. 1:02.740. And that was without any overtake use going by their overtake meter. So impressive stuff. Need to time getting into the slipstream just for this back straight. That's where you want to be in the slipstream. It's closing in, but it's not going to be enough on this occasion. But I think Joe will probably start using his overtake mode defensively to keep Mateus out of that slipstream range if he has to. Taters and Arroyo getting a bit closer together. Arroyo's actually been catching up over the last few laps. It seems to be, it's medium on medium at this stage. Going to be difficult to pass coming up towards turn 1 and into the S's. So perhaps Taters will be able to gap them a little bit. Going on board with Arroyo. Well, the cones has been knocked over again. Vandals. See a lot of marbles built up as well on the outside of the circuit there. Taters uses a very wide exit through that section. Closing up again. I think this could be difficult to defend from. Both will be likely using their overtake. There you see it. Taters goes a little bit defensive. Oh! A bit of moving around on the straight. Caught out there. Taters holds on. Oh, Arroyo, a bit shaky. And the gap goes back up to 0.7 of a second. But it seems if Arroyo manages to get ahead, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up pulling away. Is there anyone else that's somewhat close together on the circuit? Doesn't seem like it at this stage. The lead gap, 4.7 seconds. Gap for second and third is about a second. So this is the closest battle on track at this stage. 0.5 once again. We're going to go rear wing cam this time around on Tater's car. With the Caesars Palace machine closing up. trying to get a little bit of clear air on the wings there for the braking zone, I think, was Arroyo. A little bit extra stopping power. But Tater's able to launch out of that chicane effectively. And they have a little bit of traffic though. This could be an issue. It's a bad place to catch traffic. As round the outside, oh, was there a bit of contact? Difficult to tell. And again, that very wide line. I believe doing that is allowed at Daytona. I'm not too sure if it's allowed here. I know it's not in real life. As Tater spins! Oh no, Tater spins it around! Going onto the back straight. We're gonna go on board with it. Couldn't quite hold on. Someone else actually span as well in the S's. Not too sure who that might have been. Ah, he's getting on the throw and then the curb unsettled it. Cars pretty much everywhere throughout the circuit by this stage. There's a bit of lappery going off. They're fighting their way through the traffic. That makes the closest battle, I think, this 1.5 second one for second place between Joe and Mateus. Checking in on some of the other gaps, Arroyo is fourth. Tages has managed to recover fifth, so hasn't lost any more positions. But 7.2 seconds back from Arroyo, that's going to be difficult to come back from. Batman currently in sixth. As Taters goes into the pits. Interesting call. This seems to be a potential two-stop strategy then for Taters. Because I highly doubt softs will last to the end from here. Where do they rejoin? Where's Matthew and all this? I think they're going to rejoin just ahead of Matthew. Or not. They're actually behind. That pit exit is a lot longer than I thought it was. Someone else has just gone into the pits. Who was that? That's Maciek. So also perhaps going for an alternate two-stop. They were on the mediums, or rather they were on the softs. Perhaps they're going to the mediums now. Exiting the pits, they'll be in relatively clear air. Look how long this pit exit is. That's outrageous. Oh, okay. They're onto a set of softs, so they're gonna save the mediums for a final stint towards the end of this. Gap for the lead's gone down a bit, it's under 4 seconds. Both of the TSR cars with similar tyre wear. Interestingly, Joe using a bit more fuel. That'll be because he's been burning some overtake. He's going to have to time this one cleverly because he's got a bit of traffic in the form of Zephanius. Zephanius gets out of the way. The gap has gone up for Joe and Mateus as well, although Mateus purple through that first sector. We'll have a bit of slipstream from a teammate, actually. Zephanius, both driving for North Star Racing, of course. Could be a bit of a tactical slipstreaming going off here. It looks like Zephanius, yep, pulls off to the side. giving Mateus all the slipstream benefit and not giving him dirty air for the chicane. So well handled. Has the cloud cover come back? It seems to have. Bit of fog. So Arroyo currently in 4th. Seems the majority of drivers are trying to go for the one stop again. That seemed to be the main strategy we've been seeing. Hope you're all enjoying the live stream and the action that's currently going off as Batman goes into the pits. Fresh Yokohama rubber. And fueling up. Sweet also into the pits. We're gonna check in on them. Yeah, they're making their way out. It's gonna be a bit close between them. So Matthew goes up into 6th from all of this. As Taters gets past Maciek. Gap has come down between the leaders, 2.8. Octavian with a slight tyre wear advantage. Not much, but a little. Of course, the more moving around you have to do to get around traffic, that will also wear out the tyres. Maciek staying to the inside. Blue flags are out and Octavian goes through. Mateus in 3rd still. Fighting their way through the traffic once again. Oh wait, hold up. Mateus is 2nd. Something's happened to Joe. Was there a bit of contact with one of the cars being lapped? I'm not too sure. Cars on 3 different laps there. We're going to see if we can catch a replay of what happened. There's smoke coming from the tyre. It was Maciek rejoining! Oh no! Oh, that's going to be an unsafe rejoin and a half. So that's Joe down to 3rd from there. No doubt a protest incoming. But that's put Mateus up to 2nd. None of that was instigated by Mateus. It was all the fault of the lap car. Arroyo with a 30-second gap over Taters, but Taters on the newer softs will certainly be getting an undercut on the cars that are doing the one stop, but it's going to be tricky. You actually see Octavian in the background there, so Octavian's nearly put a lap on Taters. And given both of them are due one more pit stop, that's quite concerning. Mateus 2nd, Joe 3rd, Octavian still out in front, Arroyo in 4th, Taters 5th. 6th place is Matthew at this stage. And Zephanius in 7th, Batman 8th, and 9th place. Oh, this is for position! Batman and Sweet! Side by side, Sweet goes through. As they go off, and so does Maciek. I think Batman may have been caught out there by Maciek's car going off. We're going to see if we can get an onboard of this. This was a Great move here by Sweet. Getting the slipstream down the inside. Nicely done. And then what happened here? Actually, no, I don't think it was Maciek that time. I think it was just the dirty air from Sweet's car that caught Batman out. So that puts Batman down to 9th, Bulkhead in 10th, and Maciek in 11th. Both of them still trying to gain experience, getting the laps in, as there's a potential issue here for Octavian. This is Taylor's, who's currently in 5th. But we wanted to stay on this lead lap here, but it's going to be tricky. Octavian will be having a little bit of slipstream. When does Octavian pit? Not yet, it seems. Aiming for what, lap 30 maybe? It's around the halfway mark. Depends how long you want to stay on those mediums, how long you think the softs will be able to last for. Sweeping through the S's, sparks being thrown up. And again, that very wide exit on the final part of the S's from Taylor's. I'm assuming it's legal. He is the series organizer after all. 5.5 is the gap between Octavian and Mateus. 1.4 between Mateus and Joe, so Joe's trying to close back in. Can definitely see Mateus up ahead. Now, perhaps the way that Joe gets ahead of Mateus is by doing an undercut. Perhaps pitting a little bit earlier for the softs could be a play. Mind you see there just how worn the softs get, coming up to about 30 laps of racing, so you want to really extend the medium stint to 32-ish laps, I suppose. 32, 33, around that ballpark, just so the softs aren't completely shot by the end of their stint. 1.4 is still that gap. Cars everywhere. The fans have turned out in droves here at the circuit. It's fantastic to see, and they're being treated to some fantastic action all throughout the circuit. Taylor's still holding on to 5th place, refusing to be lapped. Blue flags are waving, but he doesn't want to be put a lap down. And this is going to be holding up Octavian, who would be getting some dirty air, allowing Mateus to perhaps catch up, as there Taylor's goes by Maciek. There'll be a little bit of a buffer between them and Octavian. Octavian also makes their way past. Octavian also with still plenty of overtake left. Maciek's actually trying to fight back here, it looks like, getting in the slipstream a bit. Be careful they don't outbrake themselves. Oh, they do, but they don't hit Octavian. That could have been bad. 5.8 between the leaders. Joe's managed to get down the gap between 2nd and 3rd to 1.2, so that's a couple tenths taken out. Not quite in the dirty air range, but we're expecting pit stops in the not too distant future, as that is Maciek again being passed by Mateus. I think Mateus was held up significantly there. We're going to see just what happened. Going on board, Maciek. Oh, really caught at the wrong part of the circuit. And there you see Joe, now within slipstream range. Is Mateus going to pit? Surely. Surely. Tricky pit entry here as well. Ooh, the lag there. Making it look like they may have gone off the circuit, but they've held on to it. New Yokohama rubber for the 25 car. And fueling up. You don't want to take too little fuel that you can't use overtake. That's the main trick here. It's difficult to calculate just how much extra the overtake burns. So Mateus rejoining the circuit. It looks like Arroyo is going to be out ahead of them, but yet to pit. Mateus should be good to go to the end on the mediums. And they're ahead of Taylor's by 54 seconds as it stands. I think that's going to come down once they trip the delta. Yep, look, 36-33. It keeps going down. And it's 22.5 seconds there, the gap between 4th and 5th. And Taylor's has done a good job continuing to hold on. They've actually set the fastest lap of the race of a 102.618, and they're about to lap Zui, who's in 9th. As that's Arroyo going into the pit, so new Yokohama rubber for the number 1 Caesar's Palace machine. And out the pits. They'll be going on to the softs this time around. They're pitting about where I'd imagine the softs could get to the end and not be in overly much trouble. So what will the TSR cars do? Will they pit this time around? Joe has been working the mediums quite a bit more, trying to get around Arroyo. Whoa! The car went airborne there. Well, we're going to have to see that one again. So Arroyo make their way out of the pits. There you see Joe in the background. And flying lessons by the looks of it. Look at that! Insert a Mario jumping sound effect to that. Bit of weaving going off, trying to get the tyres up to temperature. They aren't fully up to temperature when leaving the pits. Need a little bit extra warmth put into them from on-track running. Oh, a bit of a slide. Slide McGee making an appearance as expected. We've not seen Jack Wilkinson yet. Maybe he's somewhere in the pit lane. Oh, there he is! There he is, Jack Wilkinson. Big up to Jack Wilkinson on the cam, as per usual. Into the pits then. Second place, Joe of the Fire. He'll be going on to the softs. We'll have a bit of an undercut on his teammate, who's trying to get past Volked. And is starting to use the overtake here, so trying to get around that undercut as much as possible. And it's going to be close between Mateus and Joe. And Mateus does come out ahead. But it's really close between these two. A lot closer than it was, that's for certain. It's going to be tricky for Mateus to keep Joe behind. wasn't really affected by the dirty air due to coming out of the pits. They're very close to touching. Going onto the back straight, it looks like they're going to be side by side. Joe isn't going to get slipstream. It's going to be really tricky here. Mateus will have the inside for the chicane. Does Joe get ahead before then? They're both on the overtake. Joe's still using it. Mateus thinks they've done just enough. Joe round the outside. Does he get it done? No, not quite. Not quite. But that was a very valiant attempt by our race leader. Meanwhile, Octavian's gone into the pits. Where do they rejoin? Surely the lead. I think they're back on circuit now. So, yep, that's the lead for Octavian. But that was an awesome bit of driving there by Joe of the Fire. It just didn't quite happen for them. We're going to see that one again, if possible. Side by side down the back straight it was. It was always going to be a tricky move to make, but Joe very nearly made that stick, just ran out of road. Kept it on the tarmac. And will we see a bit of a repeat here? It looks like Joe's actually going to be in slipstream this time around. Mateus is going to try and challenge, but I think the slipstream plus the overtake for Joe's going to make this one a little bit easier. Mateus is still there. Mateus brakes a little bit later. Joe tries to square off the chicane, but oversteers a little bit of wheel spin. And Mateus holds on to it that time as well. Here it was again. There's a good camera. There you see Joe trying to put down the traction, just that little bit of wheel spin. Otherwise they may have been able to get a run into turn 1. Look at that, 3.5 tenths up purple through there as Taylor's goes in for the second stop. That'll be for another set of softs, I believe. Joe close behind once again. Got to time this. It's a bit like the Blue Moon Bay 200, I suppose. We've got to time the slipstream run. It looks like Mateus isn't going to give up that inside line. Joe very late on the brakes around the outside. Heroics from Joe. What a move that was. Is Mateus going to be able to retaliate? We're going to go on board. Well, I don't think he's quite close enough. The dirty air's going to really affect him through turn 1. Oh, mind you, it's still close. Ah, but now look. Oh, what a move by Joe that time around. Hold up. What's happened to Octavian? I've been so caught up. Was this for the lead? What's happened to Octavian? There you see it again. Joe round the outside. Awesome stuff. That was for the lead. What on earth? There's Octavian in the background. The hazard lights were on. Well, they paused momentarily and then lost a lot of time from that. It's the only thing I can think of it being. Zephonius goes into the pits. What on earth? Lap 35? Did they pit again? Something's not adding up here. Is that 113 lap there? Lap 37? Well, I wasn't expecting that. Apologies that we don't have a concrete answer to what happened there. I'm sure Octavian will say on the Discord. The Discord's actually in the description if you want to check that out. One of the links for the series. If you're looking for somewhere to drive, then check it out. 1.9 seconds is the gap now between Joe and Mateus. Mateus on the mediums because they started on the softs. A lot of these others have done the inverse. and so Octavian's going to have little difficulty catching up to Mateus, I would think. Yeah, that gap, look at it come down just through the mechanical grip through the S's. Really nicely done, and that is perfectly timed to get a slipstream run going onto the back straight. Look at this, closing in. Now let's see if we see any heroics from Octavian going into the chicane. Mateus, we've seen them be a bit feisty with the defence into this section before, defending the inside. Oh, that was a little bit late, but Octavian does find the inside. Do they get it stopped? Yes, they do. And we're going to see a replay of that one. Mateus was using some of their overtake to try and fight that one off, but with that tyre compound disadvantage, there really wasn't much that could be done. And Octavian really nicely makes it through. And potentially sets their target back to Joe. And they've got Tatus ahead of them again. They've had a bit of trouble trying to lap Tatus before. So we could get a decent bit of slipstream here. Will they be able to get past? I'm going to go on board again. Not too sure at this stage what Tatus might be doing. There's a car off, that's Maciek. Whoa, that was scary. A little bit of oversteer from Tatus as well. But yeah, I don't see there's much point trying to stay on the lead lap here for Tatus at this point. I don't think he's battling for position with anyone in close proximity. So he's just holding up the leader here. Blue flags are being displayed. Joe, meanwhile, has the fastest lap of the race, a 101.550. Closing in again. That 2-stop. I don't know if Tatus would have been any better off with the 1-stop, but either way, it just seems to have not quite worked. I don't think they would have been getting lapped if they tried the 1-stop. I'm sure he'll come back next time out. Mateus not too far behind. Will Tatus be giving Mateus a little bit of trouble? Mateus on the medium, so it is going to be a harder overtake. As there's contact, and somehow Mateus keeps it on the track. Well, another heart and mouth moment. We're going to go on board for it. Here we are with Mateus. Was using some of the overtake. Couldn't quite get there. A little bit of a lift through that turn 1. That's expected when you follow a car that close. So Tatus outbroke himself and then oversteered onto the grass. Or oversteered because of going onto the grass, rather. Of course, not intentional, but that was a very scary moment. And well done to Mateus for keeping that one on the circuit. 2.3 is the gap between them and Octavian. But that's going to be really difficult to catch up. Meanwhile, the gap for the lead. Let's check in on it. Their last laps, 103.192. Compared to a 102.799. This is going to close up. Whether it will be enough for Octavian to try and get an overtake done, or whether he'll be stuck in the dirty air, remains to be seen, but the gap is closing up at this stage. Let's check in on the rest of the order. 4th place, Arroyo at this stage. Gap to the car ahead, and a gap to the car behind, so relatively clear running at this stage can bring home the points. Tatus also pretty much by himself in terms of the actual leaderboard position rankings. Zephanius currently 6th. Looks like they're going to get a little bit of slipstream from Volked. Mateus, sorry, that's Matthew in the Skoda car, number 71, trying to close back up. They're 4.9 back from Zephanius at this stage, and Zephanius, they're looking about even, although Zephanius has no overtake left, so Matthew could potentially use that leverage if they have the fuel to do so. Sweet, there are the mediums, they're looking quite warm. I think they may have pitted quite early on in this. Do they have enough fuel to get to the end? I don't know if they do. They're also running a bit low on overtake, and Batman is closing in behind them in 9th. Batman on fresher tyres, and also a better compound of tyres as well, and with more overtake. This is going to be a juicy one here, making their way towards the chicane. Told you this was a good passing opportunity. It looks like Batman is a bit too far behind unless they go really deep on the brakes. Patience on this occasion. Oh, Sweet, feeling the pressure a little bit, going on the grass, sliding a bit. Avoid spinning out, but I think Batman might be able to get to the inside here. Oh, not quite, not quite. Oh, very close, on the exit curb. There's a car off again, that's Maciek. And they all survive, making their way through. That gave Sweet a little bit of a buffer, but it's going to be really difficult to defend now. 3/10 is the gap. Look at that, all over the rear wing, and side by side, sliding again. Volked's gone off the circuit there, trying to get out of the way of people. That's Arroyo also coming up to lap these guys. Is Sweet going to be able to retaliate? This is the one chance I think Sweet has to retaliate before Batman gets back ahead. Oh, trying to square off the corner again, are they? Maybe one last shot here, if they manage to square off the corner successfully for Sweet. Realistically, I don't think they're going to be able to hold on to it much longer, even if they did get ahead again. And Sweet does go off the circuit. They avoid the tyre barrier. They rejoin. That could have been a lot worse than it was. So well held. Gap for the lead. 3.4 seconds. Has that gone up a bit? Last laps. 103.0. 102.3. So if anything, it does seem to have stabilised a bit. There was a 105.0 there for Octavian. That's looking a bit suspect. They may have had a bit of traffic issues around then. As there's overtaking going off here, Zephanius and Matthew. Matthew around the outside, going into turn 1, gets that one done. Going into the S's. Sweet goes into the pits. New tyres for Sweet. They'll be able to take softs from here. Let's check in on this one again. So what happened here? Oh, so Zephanius made a mistake at the chicane as I hit my whatever this thing's called, attached to my microphone, and that's when Matthew got side by side, but Zephanius had to slot back in. So a mistake at the chicane. Now let's let Matthew go through. They're both on equal tyres, but Zephanius hasn't got any overtake left. It's going to be difficult to fight back. I think we're about 10 laps away from the end of this one. Hope you've enjoyed the action so far. As per usual, leave a like if you've enjoyed. Consider subscribing for the rest of the season. As that was Maciek getting out of the way of race leader Joe off the fire. 2 seconds is the gap. Going across the line. 102.4. Leaves a 102.9. Joe wins that round. But Octavian got the fastest lap on the lap before. That was a 101.343. I think in clear air, Octavian does have the potential to be faster. But it's whether they've got enough of an advantage and enough laps left to be able to make this one work. Running low on overtake. There's a yellow flag. That's Volkert, I think, then. I thought it might have been Joe for a second, but evidently not. 3 seconds is the gap there. Just resetting the live stream there. Fog has descended upon the circuit once again. It's very sunny for the qualifying sessions, but really cloudy and foggy for the race itself. Mateus holding on to third as it stands. Arroyo in fourth. Tato's in fifth. Mateus. I keep saying that's Mateus. It's because they're both Matts. At the start of the name, oh dear, Matthew in the Skoda car. Apologies. They're currently sixth. Sophonius trying to do their best to close up, but going to be difficult. They're in seventh at this stage, and Batman has some overtake left as well. So Sophonius can't afford a mistake because Batman is close enough to take that position. So that's 8th place. Look at the fog, you can barely see the cars through that section. Camera's having to zoom in so much. Sweet, currently in 9th. 10th place for Volkert. And Maciek in 11th. As it stands, they just hit the barrier on the exit of turn 1. Again, just trying to gain experience at this stage. .7 is the gap, and although Octavian has slightly better tyre wear and a bit more fuel, we've burned through the overtake, and I think that might have put a halt to their charge. Octavian has the fastest lap of the race, a 101.343. I don't know if it's going to be enough. I think Joe might have this, although Joe does have to go the rest of the race without making a mistake. And as we've seen by a lot of drivers around here, that is a very difficult task. Down the hill, on the back straight, curving to the right, and then the downhill plunge to the chicane braking zone. Going back up and under the Fox Factory Bridge, plunging back down again, using that compression to rip up the car and turn in. On the straights, Joe can still see Octavian if he uses his rear view mirrors or the look back button. So he knows it's far from over here. Checking in on the rest, there's a little bit of lappery going off here. That sweep that's just gone off into Narnia, it would seem. That looked to be a big one. He was following Taters. I think he was caught out by Dirty Air again. So many today. So many caught out by that Dirty Air. Unable to follow that close, and then into the tyre barrier. There's an ambulance on standby. Batman getting past Nukeshot that time around. .5. Once again, the gap between the leaders. No real battles happening throughout the order at this stage, I think. I think Batman might be closing upon Sophonius a bit, but that's still 3.5 seconds. As Sweet's gone off in the S's. That could actually pose a bit of a threat if the leaders are going to go through there. They're a little bit further around the back of the circuit, just crossing the start-finish line. But Joe, we did see earlier on in the race them suffer a bit of bad fortune. They dropped down the order a bit, and it's not been a dominant weekend by Joe by any means. Qualified, was it 4th? That's unheard of by Joe's standards, but he's managed to recover it well and recover from that incident with the lap car. And I think at this stage, it's just managing the pace. Just a handful of laps to go at this stage at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. Going up to the 150-mile mark. Tell you what, the marshals waving the blue flags today deserve their own place on the podium. Been so much lap traffic as Octavian gets held up by Maciek. Again, difficult part of the circuit. Looks like they both survive. Mateus has been the best challenger to the TSR cars. Of course, took the pole position in impressive style, but just hasn't had the race pace to match these guys, especially in the second stint. I think starting on the softs may have been the wrong call for Mateus. It was the alternate strategy with a lot of the top runners around them using the mediums. It was always going to be difficult. Nevertheless, looks like it's going to be 3rd place for Mateus. A solid podium result for car 25 if it stays as it is. And Arroyo looks to be getting another solid result for Understeer Engineering. That team's only a reserve team, you know, and they've been doing really well. Looks like both of the Skoda cars are coming up on them. 6th and 9th place, Matthew and Sweet. And you also see Sophonius' purple car in the background. Matthew looking to unlap himself actually. Could see a little bit of battling going off here then. Arroyo and Matthew. I think the leader is about to start the final lap of this one. We're going to stay with Matthew for now, as it looks like Arroyo has managed to get back past. But the two Skoda cars running together, albeit on different laps. through the S's. 3.3. There you see Octavian in the background. It's looking so good for Octavian. If he didn't have that mishap that happened, it seemed to be that they paused for a section of time because their hazard lights were on. Ah, what could have been. He'll be frustrated with that. Nevertheless, difficult to be too frustrated with a 1-2 result for the team. Joe of the Fire through the chicane for the final time. Under the Fox Factory Bridge. It is going to be victory for Joe of the Fire for round 2 of the Capital X NES IndyCar Series. Congratulations to them as Octavian crashes out across the line. And Mateus is going to take 3rd place. So that's Joe, Octavian and Mateus as your top 3. Arroyo looks set to take 4th. Taylor's coming up to take 5th. Down the hill in the Menards car. Crosses the line. Here comes Arroyo. Car number 1, 4th place, and considering they're joining the lobby relatively late compared to the others with limited track time, that is really good going. Matthew takes 6th place, Sophonius 7th, Batman 8th on debut, Sweet 9th, Volkhead 10th, and Maciek in 11th. But it is Joe of the Fire, winner of round 2 of the Capital X NES IndyCar Series at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. Congratulations to Joe. I'm going to save the replay. Here are your final results. It was Octavian that took the final fastest lap then. I won a 1.343, but it was Joe of the Fire taking the win for TSR and the Noises Chevrolet. Octavian having to settle for 2nd. Bit of defeat there for Octavian. They'll be back, I'm sure, for the next round. Mateus taking a podium result there. Good stuff for North Star Racing. Arroyo in 4th for the reserve team Understeer Engineering. 5th place for Taylor's, and that's 1 position up from where they qualified, I seem to recall. So well done to them. Matthew, 6th place, so that's a top 6 result for one of the MEM Skoda cars. Well done to them. Sophonius in 7th, Batman in 8th. Oh, that changes the IDs. Sweet takes 9th place, Volkhead in 10th, and Maciek in 11th. Well done to everyone, and we hope that you enjoyed the live stream as well. Next time out, it's going to be round 3 of the series in a week's time. No week break this time around. It's the start of the European and Asian tour of the circuits. We're going to High Speed Ring Reverse for the High Speed Ring Grand Prix. That's another 150-mile race. An even faster paced circuit than this one, if that can be believed. Well, I suppose it is in the name, High Speed Ring. Evening times 2 times, so that's going to be a little bit of night running, I think, around there. Should be exciting. If you want to be notified when that live stream goes up, be sure to subscribe with your notifications on and such. If you've enjoyed the live stream, leave a like. All the other YouTube stuff. And again, hope to see you in a week's time. I've been Zokyo from Nukeshot Media, and from all of us here at the Nukeshot Media Broadcast Centre, namely myself, it's goodbye.